Morning, everyone.
Anytime in Middleboro and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com. WVBF is your hometown radio station. And one of the things we like to do to support people in your hometown is to run community announcements. If you do belong to a nonprofit group or organization, or if you're an official with a city or town government, send your community announcements along to our email address. It's safe, it's fast, and allows us to get right back to you if we have a question. Send your community announcements to WVBF1530@hotmail.com. That's WVBF1530@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening. Your hometown radio station is AM 1530, WVBF, and 99.7 FM.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
270. Enter.
Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Middleboro in Review for February the 14th, 2021. Starting about a minute or two early today. There's no news this morning. I don't know what's going on with the news, the USA Radio News, but we weren't able to get that up this morning. We're going to be working on that, hopefully, by the later on this morning. We'll have it for you. We have a good show planned today in Middleboro in Review. Today is the 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. So, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And Dawn will be joining us in a second. And we have a good show, like I said, planned today. We have a whole bunch of different local things to talk about. A lot happened over the past couple of weeks and days in Middleboro. But first, we want to talk about the weather. The weather in Middleboro currently 31 degrees, and it's going to go up to 37 today. So right now, 31 degrees, cloudy, high of 37. Tomorrow, 38 and some snow and maybe some rain mixture for Monday. 38 degrees, 34 for the low. And on Tuesday, it will be a warm compared to the last couple of weeks. 46 degrees on Tuesday with a low of 21 and rain. So that's the next couple of days in Middleboro. In Taunton, 30 degrees, 36 for the high, 29 for the low today, 37 tomorrow, snow, 37 for the high, 34 for the low. Tuesday, rain, 45 for the high, 20 for the low. Driscoll, Texas, currently, right now, 33 degrees. So, very cold in Driscoll, Texas, which is a little bit abnormal for this time of year, I would believe. 40 for the high today. It is going to get back up to the high 50s on Wednesday for Driscoll, Texas. And actually, like most of this area in the Pacific and also Midwest, there is a winter storm warning in effect over there. So they're going to get some snow. I heard Dallas was going to get about 6 inches. So there is quite a bit of snow happening over there in Texas, in other areas in the Midwest and South that hopefully that they are somewhat prepared for. I know that they do not have the snow plows and the equipment that we have. I know that some of the cities do, but not all of them. And joining us right now here is Dawn. Good morning, Dawn.
Happy Valentine's, sweetie.
So what do you think? Driscoll, Texas, gonna get some. Driscoll, Texas might get some snow.
Driscoll, Texas?
Might, yeah. Dallas, Texas.
That's a first, huh?
Well, there's a winter storm warning in effect
So
for
that's
Texas.
That's the Galveston area, correct? Driscoll, Texas is in the Galveston area.
Yes. Well, Texas in general is going to get some snow.
Oh.
Texas, I think Dallas might get some snow. I don't think Driscoll will, because it's not in the forecast. But it's very interesting to see that Texas is possibly going to get quite a bit of snow.
Let me guess. Is it snowing in Driscoll, North Dakota, too?
Well, we haven't got to Driscoll, North Dakota.
Oh.
But a lot of the areas, like Dallas, like some other cities too, are going to get a good amount of snow that usually don't see a lot of snow. And that's pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
Well, Driscoll, North Dakota, get ready for this. You're going to fall off your seats when you hear this. Negative 31 degrees. You heard that correctly.
31 below zero.
31 below zero. You heard.
Is that the regular temperature or the wind chill?
That's the wind chill.
Oh, okay.
You heard that. 31 degrees in the negative, wind chill wise. It is windy over there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Well, right now it says wind 5 miles per hour, but it is pretty windy. Yes. -8 for the high today, so it will not even get to zero. It will not even get to Fahrenheit. It's gonna be. It's not gonna even get to 0 Fahrenheit. It's gonna be very cold. 3 for the high tomorrow, and we're just gonna get warmer and warmer as the week goes on. Next Sunday will be 34 degrees, so they'll get back up to above freezing
In Driscoll.
in Driscoll, North Dakota. So
It's very important when you talk about these towns that when you sign off, I've talked about this before,
yeah,
you tell them
I know.
it's not hit
I know.
because people are going to be
I know.
they're going to be like,
I know this. I know.
There's usually a radio station in Massachusetts.
We don't talk about we don't talk about other towns.
Yeah,
so.
we don't talk about Driscoll, North Dakota, or Driscoll, Texas. So I mean.
All right, so that's the weather for today.
That's the weather.
We got a little bit of technical, like I said.
For the 4 towns.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, we had a little bit of technical difficulties with the news this morning. Hopefully, we get that fixed by the sometime later in the day.
What? It didn't come up
It didn't come up today.
at all.
No, it
wow.
didn't come up. So
Okay.
we'll have that fixed at some point today. All right. The Middleboro Fire Department announced this week that they're going to do food deliveries to residents in quarantine or isolation to alleviate food insecurity. The Middleboro Fire Department's facilitating food deliveries to residents in quarantine and isolation. And that is the Fire Chief, Lance Benjamino, who is in control of this. And he is pleased to announce that the Middleboro Fire Department has facilitated food deliveries to residents in quarantine or isolation as part of the Isolation and Quarantine Food Security Program. The Isolation and Food security program established by the Massachusetts COVID-19 Command Center and the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, helps local municipalities bring food to those in need. As part of the program, Chief Benjamino and the town of Middleboro will order boxes of food using an online system and will be responsible for delivering the shelf-stable food boxes to households on an as-needed basis. This is a great and much-needed program that will assist many of our residents. Chief Benjamino said, "No one should go hungry because they are required to be in isolation or quarantine, and we'll do whatever we can to help those in need. If we see a greater need for deliveries, we will look toward expanding the program throughout the town as well." The food boxes will contain a variety of items, which may include canned fruits, vegetables, rice, beans, pasta sauce, canned soup, granola bars, and much more. Items in each box will vary based on availability. Chief Benjamino and the town of Middleborough will determine who receives the orders based on the state's contact tracing personnel speaking to residents who are in isolation or quarantining. As a part of the program, the COA, Middleborough COA, drivers will deliver the boxes to residents and leave deliveries at the door. Deliveries will be contactless as much as possible, and social distancing and mask wearing will be followed at all times when food is dropped off to households to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Those looking for more information on the program or who wish to inquire about receiving food can call the Middleborough Council of Aging at 508-946-2490. Again, that number, 508-946-2490. Thoughts, Don?
Yay! That's the best thing ever.
Definitely yay.
I
think that is a really good thing.
People stepping up to the plate, and again, Middleborough is the bomb when it comes to everybody working together.
There are people who really need the food, and Middleborough stepping up to really
the
help.
fire department's awesome, and the police has done so much, and the town has done so much.
And the COA, has done a really good job.
And then we got the food
with
pantry.
this too.
So I mean, really, I've always been impressed with Middleborough as far as living there, and I've lived in other towns, and whatever. I'm not gonna knock other towns, but I always just thought Middleborough, out of all the towns I've lived in, always went out of their way. It's more like a community-oriented company. It's a smaller town. I mean, I'm from Quincy originally, so I'm from the city. So, but whatever. So you move into a smaller community, but it's the school system couldn't do enough for you when you were going to school. Yeah. Every teacher was awesome. Every school was awesome. They couldn't do enough for you with your situation. And they went out of their way, and they were dedicated people. Even meeting the new police chief, Perkins, when I met him for the first time when he was elected, I remember what he said, because we were sitting there at the committee, we're sitting at the, and he was trying for the position, and he says, they were talking about the police department being the old police department, building being in tough shape, whatever, And he said, "I'll work out of a trailer. I don't care. I'll just give you." That was the best answer I've ever heard in my life from somebody, public official. I'll work out of a trailer, whatever. I'll make it work. The make it work philosophy has always been my philosophy as far as going through my life and getting my job done and doing my business. Make it work. Okay? And they got a beautiful police station now. It's great. On Wood Road there. They said, "I'll make it work. I'll work out of a trailer. I'll make it work." It just seems like that's the attitude in Middleborough from everybody. They make it work. I don't hear people crying, moaning. You don't hear about strikes. You don't hear about any of that stuff. I don't remember hearing any about that. All the years I've been living in Middleborough, I never heard anything like that. You hear in other towns, yeah, whatever. They get their right. They have, they should do it. Whatever they want to do it. But you never hear the moaning and groaning in Middleborough. They just do it, and the town is well run. And I just think it's a success story for a town. And I've always been impressed. I've never not been impressed with any facet of Middleborough. I don't know. That's just my opinion, I guess.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit more about the fire department. They were awarded a performance grant for ballistic protection gear. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We got some other great things to talk about as well. Towards the end of the show, as a observance of President's Day, we're going to talk a little bit about one president, and it's going to pertain to our Today in History as well. Today, one of our Today in Histories. We're going to talk a little bit about James K. Polk towards the end of the program. So, as an observance of President's Day. So, when we return, we'll have all that. We'll be right back here on Middleboro in Review, 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. Perfect.
Speaker seems different.
Yeah, because it was on the air button. That's why.
No news at all?
No, when I try to hit it, right? I
Yeah.
try to hit it, it doesn't load up.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't load up.
Maybe it's offline.
Let me try it again.
Has it ever been offline before?
No.
Never?
No, I'm not. I've never had a problem with it. Like, at all. I've never had a problem with it.
Is it loading up now?
No. It isn't. Like, at all. I don't get why it's not doing it, but... Oh, well.
Is there a problem with the web's up, right?
Yeah, it looks like everything's all set here with the webs, with the connection.
The guy Scott's in the hospital?
What happened?
Oh, he's got breathing issues. I don't think it's COVID related. So we'll say shut off to Scott.
Yep. All right.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts.
Actually, Scott's listening right now.
Oh.
You complete auto service for
So
your
shut
car.
off on.
They are a direct repair shop for all major insurance companies. You should reach them at 508-583.
Hey Scott, have you listened to last week's show? Hope you heard me.
6, 7.
Ask Scott if he,
Scott, did you listen to last week's Middleboro in Review?
tell him it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube
Go
if
check it out.
you haven't checked it out.
It's warm his heart up.
It's a really good show.
Really good guest.
Really good guest.
I knew something was up when he wasn't listening last week. So what do you do about the news? Who you gonna call?
I'm gonna talk to Chris at the end of the show.
Just
Text
email
him, I guess. I'm gonna text him. It's not.
So it's not
gonna be
popping up
so.
even if you try it now. It's not popping up.
It's not popping up. What I'm gonna do is at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna restart the computer and see if that does anything. If it doesn't do anything, I don't know what to say.
So what do you do besides you just play some ads?
Yeah, that's all you can do.
How long was it down for? I mean, how long do you wait? 30 seconds?
Yeah, I clicked a couple times and it didn't work. So I mean, I don't know. So I have to really kind of. I gotta get some stuff about James K. Polk up. K Polk, 11th president. Yeah. Perfect. Last, couple minutes of the show, we'll talk a little bit about him.
Who?
James K. Polk. One-term president, He didn't want to run for a second term. He was like, I'm going to do all of what I say I'm going to do in one term. And he was one of the presidents who really did what he said he was going to do. He did quite a bit of things. But we'll get more into that when we return here. A little bit later on in the program. And we're back here on Middlebury Review. Today is the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. I want to give a quick shout out to Scott, our listener from Georgia, who is currently in the hospital right now. Wish him quick recovery.
Yeah, hope you get out soon, Scott. We'll all love you, and hopefully you'll be out of there soon and on the mend.
All right. The Middleboro Fire Department has been awarded an emergency grant. Chief Lance Benjamino is pleased to announce that the Middleboro Fire Department was awarded a $5,100 emergency performance grant. A grant that is going to be used to purchase ballistic protection gear for firefighters. The emergency performance grant, it was awarded to the fire department by the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, and the United States Department of Homeland Security. The Middleboro Fire Department will use grant funds to purchase ballistic protection for firefighters that is specific to fire departments and is National Fire Protection Association 3000 compliant. The gear will be used by firefighters when called to serve as part of a rescue task force in an active shooter or criminal mass casualty incident. We are thankful to have been rewarded this grant as it will assist us in outfitting the shift commander and our first 4 firefighters with ballistic protection when responding to dangerous incidents, Chief Benjamino said. It is unfortunate that we need to outfit our firefighters in this manner, but we want to ensure they are protected for whatever scenario they may face. Goes on a little bit here. In June 2020, Chief Benjamino, in collaboration with Middleboro Police Chief Joseph Perkins, created a joint standard operation guideline for responses to such incidents, which quickly became a base for the country. The ballistic protection purchased for firefighters will be in accordance with this guideline. Again, that's some more good news for the fire department. They're getting new gear. That's really going to help them in dangerous situations. I think that is a good thing. We have some more news. The Select Board has supported a plan to build a housing complex at the Rockland Trust site on Station Street. And me and Dawn know where that is before. We've parked there. We've used that parking lot before. Crazy days.
Yeah, the Rockland Trust is where when Crazy Days was going on, that's where all the vendors would park their vehicles and walk in and set up their tents. Yeah, they're doing something there, huh?
Yes, at the January 25th meeting, the Middleboro Select Board discusses a proposal to convert the former Rockland Trust building at Glass Square into apartments. The board voted to submit a letter of support for a developmental proposal which would convert the old Rockland Trust building located on 8th Station Street into a housing complex. The proposal would utilize the existing space of the 18,000 plus square foot building into 16 apartments. The application for the proposal is being submitted by the state's Department of Housing and Community Development in order to qualify for its local initiative program. To participate in the program and gain incentives, 25% of the apartments must meet affordable housing standards and availability for low to moderate income families. Current discussed plans with the select board have the complex offering 12 two-bedroom apartments and 4 single-bedroom apartments. No age restrictions will be placed on housing. Additionally, at least 2 of them will be ADA compliant for handicapped residents. The development is currently being proposed under the 40B designation for affordable housing. These are plans by town officials to bring. There are plans by town officials to bring this before the town spring meeting. A proposal to establish a 40R smart growth overlay district in addition to offering more incentives from the state. The 40R designation is usually more attractive for municipalities because it offers greater flexibility over what can be done with the land. So that goes on a little bit more. If you want to read that, it's on South Coast Today. That's some good news for the town.
It's a great spot.
It is. It's a really good spot.
You know what's good about that spot is how many, what did you say, those 12, 15 units going in?
About that.
Okay, so you're talking 15, 16 families, right?
Yeah. Which is a lot.
Yeah, but it's walking distance to the downtown.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good spot.
That's really going to help the downtown a little bit anyway. I mean, you've got all the places down there from Central Cave to what's that other place next to Honeydew there?
Solomon Bank?
Chado?
No. Charter Oak, yeah.
Yeah, Chado Oak. You got
Santander, there's a bank there.
Yeah, exactly. You have the bagel place down there on Main Street.
There's a bunch of
yeah, you got
there's a bunch of places there.
Yeah, you have a lot of businesses. So I mean, maybe a lot of people in that situation may not have vehicles too, so they can just walk right down the street and get what they need. So that's a good spot. I think it's good when they can really put some more housing around the downtown area, because the downtown will be utilized more and the businesses will do better. That's a pretty vibrant downtown. I mean, I'm sure there probably could be more stores and whatnot, and every downtown has its. Every downtown has a situation where Amazon is dipping into their profits because a lot of people don't want to go out because of the COVID or whatnot. But I believe strongly if you don't want to go out, I understand. But if you have no problem going out, frequent the businesses in Taunton, Middleboro, and the surrounding communities. Because these are your neighbors. I've been saying it over and over and over. These people are your neighbors. They're running their stores. They've been here for years. You want them to succeed because they're part of your fabric. You could have a business where my business is based. Anybody can call me for removal services as far as my business is concerned. I work for an oil company. Anybody could call me to, my boss for oil. But those people need to work too. So it's important to keep the city centers open.
Yes, and there's been other apartment buildings that have popped up in Middleborough as well.
Yeah, that's
which
that's
is
great.
really important.
And it seems like they're fast tracking it too. They make it install out or whatnot.
Yeah.
And again, that's what I like about Middleborough. They get
They get
things
it done.
They get it done. You know.
They bring it to the board. They get it approved, and they get it done.
Yeah, you know, I'm not saying they fast track everything. They do talk to people, and they do get it heated, but but if it gets heated, they get heated.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Let them debate it. That's democracy at its finest. But it moves along. Yes or no? Up or down? What do you want?
Yeah.
Move along. Let's. Are we doing this? We're not doing this. What? You know, not wasting their time. You're not wasting the citizens' time. You're not wasting anybody's time.
Yeah.
So that's great news, and I'm sure there's other areas around there too that might be, because I know they have that over near the railroad tracks. They got that building there, that old abandoned, looks like a barn or something. I think it used to be a lumber company. That could be used for something. I think maybe they have their eyes on that. So, you know, we should look into that, see what the deal with that. That's a good little spot. No, maybe that's, you know, I'm sorry, maybe that's where that new train station's going. It's called Pilgrim's Crossing.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not too sure where exactly that's going. We should look into that. Find the blueprint on that.
Well, if we're gonna talk a little bit about South Coast Rail if we get to it today. There's some other things I want to talk about before South Coast Rail, but if we get to South Coast Rail, we'll talk a little bit.
I
about
can't stress it enough. If you can shop local, shop local.
Yes, very important. If you can,
Okay?
if you
shop
can
local.
during the pandemic, please shop.
I know
local.
places like Amazon is convenient, and I understand that, but at the end of the day, I mean, what's it got to be? Just at some point, if all the stores close, what do you got?
Yeah.
Just Amazon.
Yeah.
And then you got only one game in town. You know what happens when there's only one game in town.
Yeah. All right. Dog licenses. The dog licensing period is continuing here. It ends on March 31st. The items that you need to bring with you in order to license your dog. You will need a copy of a valid rabies certificate and a certificate of spraying and neutering. A fee of $15 per dog if your dog has not been sprayed, and a $10 fee if your dog has been sprayed. A reminder to license your dog has been included as an insert dog licensing worksheet with the mailing of the 2021 annual town census form. Residents may complete the form and submit payment through the mail or by stopping by the town clerk's office, 20 Center Street, first floor, Town Hall Annex building, the bank building, the old bank building. Stop by Monday through Friday, 8:45 a.m. to 5 p.m. or purchase the dog licenses online. As a reminder, all dogs must be registered by the 31st of March. Dogs licensed April 1st to 30th will be assessed a late fee of $10. Dog licenses not renewed by May 1st are subject to a $50 fine. So that's important. Going to continue to mention that up until the 31st of March. That is extremely important. If you haven't done so, please license your dog because it is very, very important to do so. And another very important thing to do, if you're able to, is to give blood. If you are able to give blood, it is extremely important that you do so. On the 16th, Tuesday, at the Church of Our Savior, 60 Union Street, Middleboro, Massachusetts, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Contact them at 508-947-1900. Again, that number, 508-947-1900. And then there is one other blood drive that will be happening in Halifax on the 19th of February. And that's going to happen from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That will happen at 499 Plymouth Street, Halifax, Massachusetts. If you go to the redcrossblood.org website, type in 02338 and make an appointment. Again, February 19th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That blood drive will be happening. I checked the redcrossblood.org website. Apparently, it's not on there anymore for some reason. I'm not sure why. But if you give the town hall a call, as well. If you give the town hall a call, let me give that number, because I don't believe the Red Cross page is up anymore. I'm not sure why, but I had to call the town hall yesterday. Not yesterday, Friday, to make sure that it was still happening. It is still happening. Call the town hall, 781-293-1734, and talk to the Board of Health. That's the person I talk to. That's the department I talk to. The Board of Health, again, 781-293-1734 is Town Hall for Halifax, to get more information about the blood drive. Because I don't know why, but the Red Cross Blood.org thing is not up anymore. Well, I don't know. But that is coming up over the next couple of days. There are a couple of blood drives coming up. And next week, we'll have information about more blood drives for the month of March that are coming up as well for the month of March. We're going to have more information about that next week. All right. We got one more story to talk about here before we take another break. A memorial buddy bench in the name of Renee True is going to be installed at the MECC. The memorial buddy bench in the name of Renee True will be installed at the school, and that will be coming up soon. I think they are working on it now. Again, this is a very good thing in her honor. She really was a great person in the community, helping a lot of people out in the community, and a bus driver for many years in the community. So
She was your bus driver.
yeah, she was. So this is a very good touching tribute that the MECC will do, a memorial buddy bench in the name of Renee True. All right, 7:40. When we return, we will talk a little bit about South Coast Rail. We'll see what time it is, because I like I said, I want to get to the talking about James K. Polk, because it does tie into our Today in Histories. So, we'll be right back here on Middlebury in Review, 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. We'll be back.
So I hear like music in the background. What is that? Is it the?
Yeah, because the door's open over here.
Once you shut that door.
Yeah, I opened it because it was hot. I came in, it was like 200 degrees.
Well, because this door is shut, that's why, and the heat works so good in this room.
Yeah.
I need you to give me like 2 minutes at some point. I want to thank Danny Harmon, and I want to talk about the rail trails a little bit.
Okay.
Of the Roxbury Presbyterian Church and former TV news anchor, and I'm here with pediatrician Reverend Gould.
We're gonna scratch South Coast Rail, I think.
Huh?
We're gonna talk about South Coast Rail next week.
All right.
We don't have time.
What's going on?
Well, I just want to give an update on it.
Well, give it. I'm gonna be short, Joey.
No, I want to get to James K. Polk.
Limits in fighting COVID-19. It's critical
Well, just give me like a couple minutes, all right?
Yeah.
Illness, hospitalization,
I got these commercials that might take a few minutes, so I want to get to. I want to get to the
I
Thanksgiving.
wasn't even paying attention. What's up? You couldn't. The website want to come out for the blood drive?
Yeah, the Red Cross blood drive. There's a page about the Halifax blood drive.
Maybe it's
It
done.
doesn't come up.
Maybe it's done.
No, it's on the 19th. I called the Board of Health.
Oh, you did?
I called the Halifax Board of Health.
You actually talked to them?
Yes, I talked to them and they said it was on the 19th,
So
9
you
to 2.
told the listeners it's the 19th, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you told me.
I told the listeners to call the Board of Health, the town hall, the Board of Health. So, yeah.
Support those who have defended our country in freedoms. Our
I'm
focus is to
sleeping
help
over there. I'm
veteran
tired
care
of this.
facilities provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter,
Not still
guidance,
listening?
or simply to save.
No one's listening right now.
We have members from nearly all 50 states and living abroad.
Nothing seems to be going on right now with combat vets. I checked their website.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem.
You have his phone?
I'm gonna call them, but I don't see anything on their website.
Each year.
I don't see any
Well,
events.
there's nothing going on like run the ads, right?
Care facilities in
Well, there's gotta be something going on.
You should get. You need to make.
I gotta make a phone call. So
Are you even talking about making that phone call?
I know, a while, quite a while.
Just saying.
Yeah, I know. All right. One more commercial.
St. Vincent de Paul of Sacred Heart Church in Middleboro serves the residents of the towns of Middleboro, Lakeville, Carver, and Rochester. Our base of operations is in the lower level of the parish hall on Oak Street, directly across the street from Sacred Heart Church in downtown Middleboro. At this time, we serve approximately 500 families in our service area, and many of them come to us for various types of aid. This can take many forms. Can include many of the following programs.
Are you even gonna bother trying to do the news, or you just gotta go right
No.
to the commercial?
No, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Clothing and furniture vouchers and temporary lodging. For more information, go to svvdmiddleboro.org. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
You giving me the mic right away? You got something to say? What?
What?
You giving me the mic right away? You got something to say?
I got a few things to say. And we are back, Middleboro in review. I just want to give you a little programming schedule here for today and tomorrow. We will be on the air tomorrow. It's President's Day, and we will be on the air tomorrow. But we want to give you a quick little update on the things going on. But before we do that, I want to switch it over to Don really quick. He has a few things to say.
Thank you, Joe. I want to thank Danny Harmon for calling in last week. He was most of the show, if not all the show, and the man is very busy, and we appreciate his efforts in talking to us. He was a great call, a great guest, I guess we could call, and we do appreciate it, and I hope he calls in again because he was a wealth of knowledge for that, for what he was talking about, and he had a great voice, great speaking voice. I believe he works for television, doing commercials and ads and whatnot. So I remember when I started looking at his videos, I said, Joey, watch these videos because you're on the radio, you're announcing. If you watch his videos and listen how he talks, I think you'll pick up a lot of good habits. And I think Joey did, and I think Joey's getting a lot better, and I might be getting a little better. Who knows? Definitely not a professional, but I got dragged in kicking and screaming to do the show with Joe, so I have to do it. A couple comments came in on the Facebook. One individual, which saying right now, thank you for anybody who listens to our show with comments. We welcome all comments, negative or positive, whatever. You listen to the show, and that's awesome. Danny was talking about the rail trails and how he really didn't care too much for them because it takes a lot of right-of-ways away from potential projects that could happen as far as transportation or whatnot. Personally, I believe in the rail trails myself. I think they're a great idea. And if you can build one and people can use them, it's fine. But don't be heartbroken if you need to pull that rail trail away to put a transportation infrastructure in. Okay? There's a give and take for everything. If you're not using the property and you want to put a rail trail in, it's going to run 15, 20 years before they get around to doing anything, because what they're planning today is not going to happen, and it's not going to be up and running for 20 years. We all know that in most cases when it comes to projects, long-term projects. For instance, there's a rail trail in Cambridge. Starts at Alewife and goes all the way to Lexington. I think it goes even further. I wrote it, but my buddy Dave used to live on it. Goes to Arlington, parts of Cambridge. It would be an awesome spot for a light rail. It goes right through downtown Arlington. Arlington does have no rapid transit, they only have bus only. That rail trail is awesome. But if the state needed to take it for a mass transit project that would better the community, I'm all for that, too. So, it's a give and take for everything, in my opinion. One other thing, too, I'll let Joey talk. We have the right-of-way that comes from Canton Junction, Easton, Raynham, runs up behind the station here in Taunton. Not sure what, the train used to run on it, and I think the proposal got shot down, and they went with the proposal through Middleboro and up through East Taunton. But if that got, now if they had that as a rail trail right away, that takes things away from maybe putting a rail line in the future. So people need to think long and hard before you give up your right of ways, because what's next if you have a project, eminent domain? You don't want to do eminent domain anymore. It's not popular. No one likes it. So there's a give and take for everything. That's all I'm saying. I think they're a great idea. I've rode my bike on them, got a lot of fun. But the infrastructure, the right-of-ways, they're very hard to come by. So it's a give and take, I think. That's all I'm going to say about that.
All right, quick programming note. After us, listen to the Rosary, not the Rosary, sorry, Bread of Life, and then the Rosary. The Bread of Life program for today. Examine Yourselves, part number 2. Last week was part number 1. This week is part number 2. The Rosary at 8:30. 9 o'clock, we'll be Talking Birds. It's great programming there for next week and this week. On our Today in Histories, we actually have a bird-related passing. Someone who was very popular in ornithology. So we have a little bit about that in a few minutes. After that, we have Keys of the Kingdom at 9:30. 10 o'clock, we have our new program, All on God with Edna Isaac. At 11, Musical Odyssey. And today's program, Briggs plays Bach and Handel. That will be today's program. At noon, Sounds of the Emerald Isle with Jim Larkin. And at 2 o'clock, the Stand Up Strong program with Ed Miller and Tony Branch. Tomorrow, President's Day, WVBF will be on the air with Morning Wake Up News. I will be the host of the Morning Wake Up News tomorrow. Chris will have the day off. Jim will be coming in, Jim DuPont, 9 to 11, for a special Hometown Talk Radio program. So tomorrow we will have program from 7 to 11 on President's Day. Speaking of President's Day, we want to highlight a president who I really admire because he kept all of his promises. A really good president who kept all of his promises, and it was praised for it by historians. And that president is James K. Polk. The promises that he really wanted to keep was the annexation of the Republic of Texas. He wanted to gain Oregon, wanted to pick up Oregon, the Oregon Territory, and really all sorts of other big things as well. His presidency was from March 4th, 1845 to March 4th, 1849. His vice president, George M. Dallas, who was very important as well. And a lot of great things that he had done. Historians have praised Polk for having met, during his 4-year term, every single major domestic and foreign policy goal he had set. After negotiation fraught with the risk of war, he reached a settlement with Great Britain over the disputed Oregon Territory. The territory, for the most part, being divided by the 49th parallel. He provoked a war with Mexico in an attempt to expand the nation and succeeded in doing so, as it resulted in Mexico's secession of nearly all the American Southwest. He secured a substantial reduction of tariff rates with the Walker Tariff of 1846. The same year, his other major goal was the reestablishment of an independent treasury system, which I think was in place until the 1910s, so quite a while. He left office. He returned to Tennessee, and only 3 months actually after his retirement, he passed. He was relatively obscure. He's been relatively obscure. Scholars have ranked Polk favorably for his ability to promote and achieve major items on his political agenda, or his presidential agenda, despite limiting himself to a single term. He got a lot done in one term. Like I said, one of the good president for really keeping his promises. I know some of the promises he kept, led us to war with Mexico, which is not a good thing, but we ended up gaining land from that, which at that time was good for our country. Don, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that was a pretty turbulent time. As far as working with Great Britain at that time, I think that was at the point where I think Great Britain we were getting away from being enemies in a way. I mean, I'm sure the War of 1812, you're talking, 30 years, something years later, when he was in office, still thinking about it, whatnot, but, and I know Great Britain, I don't know, they were like passive during the Civil War, but it's good that we didn't have another war with Great Britain, because they were still a major power.
Yeah.
We didn't want to deal with that. So I think that was more like mended fences in a way, because that was peaceful up there. I mean, I don't think we've ever fought with Great Britain since the War of 1812. We might have had skirmishes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look deep into history, and a historian will tell you, we had this little incident, and whatever, I'm sure we have. Israel. But we had an incident with Israel during the 6-Day War when they attacked the ship Liberty. So, I mean, it's always those skirmishes you hear about. But as far as avoiding another major war with Great Britain, maybe that peace treaty would help, the Oregon Peace Treaty.
Yeah, and
figuring out what's going on, get the boundaries set, the 49th parallel up there.
I mean,
Northwest.
Not all wars for land can be avoided. Like I said, the war with Mexico, it eventually happened. It couldn't have been. I don't know if it could have been avoided, but.
But if the.
Yeah.
In hindsight, too, if the Mexican army was a little stronger, we wouldn't have gained all that land.
Yeah, our armies went pretty far into Mexico.
That's what I'm
So
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. So
But that's just how it happened, and then that's just the way it all happened at that point in time.
but yeah, James K. Polk, a good president, kept a lot of his, almost actually all of his domestic and foreign policy promises that he put out there, and I think that's a good thing. That is a really good thing, and so definitely research more of James K. Polk, because he is a very interesting person to learn about, and not a lot of people know about James K. Polk. He's kind of not like it said, not well known.
The President's Day. I mean, Washington's birthday was traded for President's Day in name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in a way, growing up myself was Washington's birthday, so you just focus on Washington. But now, President's Day, you're focusing on 46 presidents now.
Yep.
From the first to the current. And I think people need to read up on that. They need to...
I think people need to read up on every single president.
Right, and the vice presidents too.
And vice presidents, yeah, there's a lot of them. A lot of them.
So that's why I think you talk about a different president every time. I mean, George Washington, of course, first president, and holiday was pretty much named after him. But they call it, we'll call it President's Day, which is fine,
Yep.
because it's 46 of them to talk about. So,
Yeah.
a lot of discussion.
And there's a few more in number of vice presidents
Yes.
too. So
Right.
from Kamala Harris to George M. Dallas, Spiro Agnew, there's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch to learn about. Hannibal Hamlin.
Right.
Yeah.
And Nelson T. Rockefeller.
Yep. Yep.
He was Ford's, and it's funny too because he wasn't sworn in. People don't realize this. He wasn't sworn in until like December of '74, because what was it, August? Yeah, August. Ford took it from Nixon,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got August, September, October, November, and so technically we didn't have a vice president in those 4 months. So technically, if anything happened to Ford in those 4 months, it would have gone where? Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a vice president sworn in. So Nelson T. Rockefeller was the vice president from '74 on. From '74 to the end of 76.
Yeah.
January 20, '76, when President Carter was sworn in.
All right. So in 1849, on this day, in New York City, James Knox Polk became the first serving president of the United States to have his photograph taken. So that is a very important day in history. From that moment on, presidents would have their photos taken. Former presidents would also have their photos taken as well. I think Andrew Jackson was one of them. There was a whole bunch of them that had a bunch of them that were still around, that had their picture taken at that time. 1912, Arizona is admitted as the 48th and last U.S. state of the what we call the lower 48, the 48, the continental 48. What we call all put together, the 48 that are put together and not split with anything. Alaska would come later, and Hawaii would come later, the same year actually. Birthdays. 1859, George Washington Gale Ferris Jr., American engineer and inventor of the Ferris wheel. 1894, Jack Benny, American actor and producer. 1934, Florence Henderson, American actress and singer, has a birthday today. She would have been, let's see, how old would she have been here?
What year? What year?
1934. She would have been...
I think she would have been 85.
She would have been 87.
87?
87,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Okay.
She passed away in 2016.
Okay.
And deaths on this day, James Bond, the American ornithologist and zoologist. Popular because his name was used for the inspiration for 007, James Bond. Passed away on this day in 1989. Born in 1900. All right, so that'll do it for today's program. We went a little over today, about 3 minutes over, because, like I said earlier in the broadcast, our news is down, so went a little over today, but that'll do it for today's program. So we'll see you next week for the February 21st edition of Middleboro in Review. Bye-bye, everybody. All right. Yeah, I gotta see what's going on with our news. Hopefully we can get that fixed, because I don't know what's going on with that.
Broadcasting live from the Taunton Federal Credit Union Studios at 14 Church Green, we are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleboro, Taunton, and W259DD, Middleboro Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
This is coming up. Bye-bye, everybody.